Young people should be able to focus on what young people should be focused on, which is how to get laid and how to go and have fun.
And this is what counts as, profound wisdom coming from a mouthpiece of the Democrat Party. Because actually, young men want a lot more than that out of life. On Monday, the Democratic National Committee voted to void the election of David Hogg as their vice chair. In a 13-2 vote, they decided that Hogg's election to his position was not legitimate. And this was obviously devastating news for Hogg, as it wiped away the one single achievement of his life, as sad as that achievement was. Becoming the vice chair of the DNC is, in the world of national politics, essentially the equivalent of a participation trophy. And now Hogg is losing even his participation trophy. It's a sad day in the Hogg household. Then again, every day is a sad day in the Hogg household. Nonetheless, his family must be devastated. And by family, of course, I mean his cats. Now, the DNC came up with some procedural reason for ousting David Hogg. But whatever the pretense, you cannot help but notice the timing. That he was kicked to the curb just a day or two after he appeared on Bill Maher's show and made the argument that the Democrat Party should do more to appeal to men. Hogg said that Democrats should stop alienating men. And the Democrats responded by immediately excommunicating him. Not exactly subtle. But even if the DNC isn't willing to listen to Hogg's entreaties, we will hear him out on this show. Now, admittedly, it's hard to take a 27-pound progressive male seriously when he talks about masculinity, but we'll try not to hold that against him. Yes, he looks and sounds like the before picture in a commercial for testosterone therapy, but again, we won't focus on that. So here is David Hogg with Bill Maher. Watch.
Right now, what I think happened last election is younger men, they would rather vote for somebody who, even if they don't completely agree with, they don't feel judged by, than somebody who they do agree with, that they feel like they have to walk on eggshells around constantly because they're going to be judged or ostracized or excommunicated. And what's interesting about this moment is it feels like the two parties in some senses have flipped, where, Republicans used to be the judgmental in many ways. And since many Democrats, despite us, I would say for most of us coming from the right place of wanting to do the right thing, we've created a culture where we say, well, if you say the wrong thing, you're excommunicated. And that's just not how human beings work. Nobody is perfect, but ultimately what we have to do here is figure out how to bring people back in and work towards the bigger goal of advancing the future of this country and helping young people especially get by so that they're able to focus on their lives and, getting with a young woman or something like that instead of how are they going to pay their rent, for example, or how are they working their two jobs. Young people should be able to focus on what young people should be focused on, which is how to get laid and how to go and have fun.
David Hogg for president, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see you. We'll see you back here, I'm sure, very soon.
David, we notice how you said that Democrats should stop excommunicating men. Well, for that, you're excommunicated. That was the DNC's response, basically. But even if the DNC isn't ready to hear it, Hogg does have a point, obviously. The Democrat Party has gone out of its way to alienate and ostracize men at every opportunity. They've sent the message loud and clear that they don't like or respect men, in particular straight white men. And what happens as a result? Well, straight white men won't vote for you. It turns out that "I hate you guys, now vote for me" is not exactly the most compelling pitch. Now, Hogg may be broadly correct about the grand overarching point to an extent, but his analysis is hindered by the fact that he is very much a part of the problem that he's pointing to. He's just not capable of grasping the full scope of the issue or the finer details because he's infected by the same mental and spiritual disease as the Democrats he's criticizing. So let's go through the points that Hogg is missing. He says that Democrats have become the judgmental a-holes, and that's correct. But the problem isn't merely with being judgmental or being an a-hole. The problem is, first of all, and this is the big one, that the judgments are wrong. Make America healthy again. That's the movement, and it's making health and fitness a priority again across America. That's why I've teamed up with Don and the crew over at Jacked Up Fitness. These guys are legitimately American-made, and they're getting some serious attention. They even dropped off their Power Rack Pro at the HHS building for RFK Jr. and his team in light of Maher's movement. I'm actually getting my own Power Rack Pro delivered soon, and I'm pretty stoked about it. This thing is basically an entire gym that fits into your house. A cable crossover system, integrated 200-pound weight stacks, Smith machine. You can do hundreds of exercises without fighting for space or machines at your local overpriced gym. Even my family's been asking me about when it's arriving just because everyone's excited to give it a try. And if you're clueless about strength training, don't worry. They've got this Get Jacked Up program with full body video workouts led by actual celebrity trainers, Kim Lyons from The Biggest Loser and Clark Bartram. All you have to do is hit play and follow along. Almost anybody should be capable of handling these instructions to get started. So head to getjackedup.com to access the program for free. And when you're ready to pull the trigger and order your own Power Rack Pro, use promo code Walsh to save 10%. No more excuses. Getjackedup.com. Your future self will thank you or curse you. Either way, you'll be fitter. Okay? It's one thing to be judgmental against bad, degenerate behavior. It's another thing to be judgmental against healthy, normal behavior. The problem is not that judgments are being made. The problem is that the judgments are deranged. So a conservative like myself may be accused, as I have been a time or two, of being judgmental towards certain lifestyle choices. And then a leftist may also be accused of being judgmental towards certain lifestyle choices. But I'm judgmental about, for example, the lifestyle choices of, let's say, a man who announces that he's actually a woman and then leaves his wife and kids and starts wearing dresses and makeup in public. That's an example of the kind of lifestyle that I might harshly judge, that I might be judgmental towards. Yes, absolutely. A leftist, on the other hand, will harshly judge a normal, straight, heterosexual man who has a wife and kids and goes to work every day to provide for them and then comes home every night and eats dinner with his wife that she prepared and then says prayers with his children before bed. Okay? Now, both choices may be harshly judged by the two groups. But the very, very significant difference is that the latter lifestyle choice is well, rather in this case, the latter lifestyle choice is healthy and good and wonderful, right? The man who's with his wife and is faithful to her and they have a good family and they pray and they eat dinner together. Like that's a good thing. And the former lifestyle choice is bad and destructive and maladjusted and harmful and disturbed. So the problem is not simply in the fact that judgments are being passed. The problem is that the judgment in the latter case is totally deranged and psychotic. Okay? Now, so it's the substance of the judgment that is the issue. But there is also an issue with style. Now, the Democrat Party is mostly run by and exclusively caters to women and gay men. And that means that when they scold straight men, they scold them like nagging shrews. And men hate being nagged. This is universal. If you were to ask every man in the world to make a list of the top 5 things he hates, nagging would make the list for every man. Like all 4 billion men, nagging would be on the list, probably in the top 3. Maybe at the top, maybe even number 1. On the other hand, when conservatives call men out, which we do, it tends to be done the way that men do it. See, men don't have a problem being called out necessarily. They just don't like being nagged. So when the left lectures men, it sounds like this. It sounds like, that's really problematic. I can't believe you do that. I'm so offended. How many times have I told you to stop that? I shouldn't have to keep telling you this. You need to apologize. That's how the left lectures men. Now, if a conservative feels a need to call men out, it's more like this. Hey, get your together. Like, man up, you wimp. Stop. Nobody cares. Now, the first approach is guaranteed to be tuned out. Every time. Guaranteed. No man wants to hear that. Not once you get the finger wagging and this and that, and I've told you so many times, we're not listening. I don't care what you're saying. We're not listening. No man wants to be constantly lectured, regardless of the tone or style. But if you need to admonish him for something, he much prefers the second option. As men, if we need to slap some sense into a friend, that's how we do it. We don't do that. I've told you so many. I'm so offended. We don't do that. We say, hey, dude, what are you doing? Like, get your together. Come on. Get it together, man. That's how we do it. Now, Democrats can't speak to men that way, and if they do, it sounds phony. It sounds like play acting. It sounds like Tim Walsh, right? Like you're trying to say the lines, but it's not natural to you. But generally, they can't even in a fake way, they can't communicate with men that way because they are a party and a movement dominated by ill-tempered, man-hating feminists. Democrats hate men too much to actually understand them or communicate with them. And that's why David Hogg's great insight, in the end, is that young men just want to get laid and have fun. And Bill Maher can't get enough of that. He's thought that was the greatest thing that he's ever heard. He gets standing ovation for that incredible insight. And this is what counts as, profound wisdom coming from a mouthpiece of the Democrat Party, or a former mouthpiece, I guess. But it is extremely superficial and ultimately insulting. Because actually, young men want a lot more than that out of life. They want success. They want respect. They want not just to get laid, they want companionship. They want a wife. They want children. They want a legacy. Every man likes having fun, but any person likes having fun, but no man is driven by that desire at the deepest level of his soul. He's driven to pursue greatness. That is, unless he's demoralized and defeated and just gives up, which a lot of men have. And that's the problem that we need to fix. But it's a problem that guys like David Hogg can't do anything about and can't understand. And that's why David Hogg and his former cohorts at the DNC are all today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.